Greetings and salutations, and welcome back to Disaster Mode Terraria. I would say Master Mode, but I haven't mastered anything except death and disaster and player dismemberment. I have tried literally everything. Nothing off camera, but I have tried literally everything. Multiple strategies on the Queen Bee, multiple strategies on you name it, and I've thought to myself, there's got to be something I'm doing wrong. So, we're gonna try it again. Except this time, I'm gonna go try, um, Skeletron. But I'm gonna go build an arena. So before I do that, I'm also gonna go the ranged mode instead of spellcaster. I think I might have a better chance with that, to be honest. Because I mean, I don't mind the spellcaster. I really don't, but it doesn't seem like it has the oomph to it that it needs. I don't really need the Beezor or the Mana Potion, the Angry Mana Flower. Don't get me wrong, that's a great thing to have. I just don't think I need it right now. I need a wing and a prayer. That's what I need. Not the mini shark. I'm gonna make a whole bunch of flaming arrows to try to kill Skeletron. As I figure I don't really need the penetrating effect on Skeletron. So I sat there and I thought about it. It's like, who would be the easiest when you sit down and look at it from a point of view of you versus the mob, right? And the only one that's really seems easy without a whole lot of prep work to it would be Skeletron. And I've got Iron Skin and Thorns potions. I'm gonna take those before I even start the fight, because I'm gonna try to get my defense higher. Now the question then becomes, all right. Do I need that? No. I need arrows, and lots of them. I can put the jester's arrows away. I can put the musket balls away, and the flares. I need regular wooden arrows, which I can make because I got plenty of trees and I got plenty of stone. I can make those. That's not the issue. The issue is then making the flaming arrows. Who'd have guessed that all this wood that I planted was going to come back to help me? The question is do I need to go find the bast? Go grab the bast? Because the bast gives me plus to defense when I set it down in the field, so to speak. I think that's foolish. I think if I land on the thing... Ooh, Devourer banner. Interesting. Good, that'll allow me to kill more of them. Or at least kill them quicker. Really? The more I think about it, the more I try to set out to do something, I realize just how folly it is with what I have. But then I think to myself, I've done this before. I've done this on Master Mode before. I've done this on other modes before. I can do it again. And I got that voice in my head saying, yeah, you could do it again. I know you can. You know, keep going, you got this, right? And then the other voice kicks in and goes, maybe you've lost a step or two. It's like, well, what voice do I listen to? Do I listen to the one that's telling me, keep going, you got this? Or do I listen to the one that says, brother, you're not as quick on the controls as you used to be. Which, if I'm not as quick on the controls as I used to be, alright, yeah, I get it, that happens. Happens to everybody when they get older. I'll be the first one to admit, you know, hey, I'm no spring chicken. But it's not going to take away my joy of the game, you know what I mean? And I think that's key. I think if people really enjoy a game, that they should continue to enjoy the game. You know what I mean? Don't let other people come in and say, well, you can't enjoy games anymore. You're too old. Don't do that. Anybody that does that needs to be shamed out of the public space. Personally, that's what I believe. And the reason I say that, and a lot of people won't agree with me. A lot of people will say, wait a minute, you don't go shaming people. No. Hear me out. My mother, who's almost 70 years old, plays World of Warcraft. Still. She retired at the same time I did, but she decided that she enjoyed it too much and she went back to playing it. Me, I have not looked back. I have not looked at private servers. I have not looked at anything. I have no time for it. I said, nope, I'm done. I cashed in my chips on it ages ago, and I've never looked back. Now, that's not to say that she hasn't had me sit in and watch a queue timer because she had to go and use the bathroom or something. She's had me sit there and, you know, she's like, oh, if my dungeon pops or if the PvP queue timer pops, because she does PvP. Still. But if, you know, if that pops up, she just says, hey, you know, watch this timer for me. And if it pops up, take the timer. And I'm like, okay. So I do. I sit there and I watch the timer. I sit there and I watch it tick upwards. And then she enjoys it, and you know, like I said, I watch queue timers, and I don't really pay much attention to the game any other way, and just go from there. In other news, I got hall sensors for hall sensor control sticks, I should say, for my Nintendo 64. And I have an EverDrive 64 is what it's called. There's a couple of ROMs on it that don't work. I have the cartridges themselves, like Pokemon Stadium 1. I have the cartridge. It's sitting in the other room. And I want to be able to play it, but the ROM doesn't work. And so we're sitting there, and my brother and I were chatting about it the other day, and he goes, well, it's easy enough to get it to work. All you have to do is just do this, that, and the other thing. And he explained it all out. And I was like, all right. And so I set out to do exactly that. So I'm gonna have to disconnect the EverDrive and then basically. Ooh, interesting. That's an interesting fish. It's caught in the jungle. Let's go do that real quick. And I'm gonna have to do gonna have to reapply or add the ROM back in of Pokemon Stadium 1. But it's really cool. So if you've never had an EverDrive, it's literally an N64 cartridge that has its own storage. It has its own everything, and you can put N64 games on it, and it'll hold all of them because it has newer technology and it's got a little USB port in the side of it. You can plug that into your PC and then take the ROMs of the games you have, and then just put them right on it. It's an interesting little piece of technology, and I thought about one of these times bringing it up and hooking it up to my PC because I have a RCA to HDMI adapter, so I could then have it run through my Ripsaw. So if you want me to do some N64 games on the channel sometime, let me know. I can do it. Because to me, I think there was a lot of people that obviously they supported the PlayStation and they supported other things like that, and it's fine and dandy, if people support the consoles they like. I personally loved the Sega Dreamcast. I thought the Dreamcast was a great system. I enjoyed the Nintendo GameCube. In fact, I still have mine. Um, there's a lot of systems that I thoroughly enjoy, but the N64 has that place in my heart because it's one of those that you just kind of, you had it growing up, and it's a great system. And one of the fun things today was my nephew stopped by today, um, and my nephew he had never played GoldenEye, and so I had him sit down and play GoldenEye for the first time, and let's just say he absolutely loved it. Like he, well, goodbye, demolitionist. Sucks to be you, I guess. He went completely bananas for that game, and it was a good time. We sat there, we played multiple rounds of Goldeneye. Had a grand old time, laughed a whole bunch, and it's always good to show the younger generation. I mean, he's 10 years old, right? He's my sister's son, and it's always good to show the younger generation, hey, these were games from my era. This is the games I had growing up, and let them see where the technology was, and then turn around and then show them where the technology is. Because he plays a ton of games on his Switch, right? And I told him tons of times. I was like, you guys don't know. It's like you kids today, you don't even know how good you have it. And he just kind of looked at me funny, and I said, "You wait." And this was before I even hooked up the system. I said, "You wait till I get Hall sensors for my N64." I said, "I'll play N64 games that you're gonna sit there and be like."
I don't know. And that's what he did. Is he kind of looked at it like, eh, he wasn't thrilled about the graphics, and it's like, brother, nobody played N64 for the graphics. Nobody played it for the graphics. Everybody played it for the gameplay. And it was one of those things where graphics doesn't equal gameplay, right? And he absolutely it loves the Nintendo 64. Loves it. And we also played Perfect Dark because we have some Perfect Dark. We have the Perfect Dark um, uh, cartridge. I was gonna keep calling it console. It's like it's not a console. It's a cartridge. But no, we have the Perfect Dark cartridge, and for some reason, and maybe let me ask you this: anybody else that's ever actually played the original Perfect Dark? Question: Challenge 27 with 3 players. Could you ever finish it? Way back in 1997, 2000, that era, when Perfect Dark came out, my brother's friend, who just graduated high school, he was going to college nearby. He kept coming by, 2000, 2001. I was a senior in high school at that point. And we were up until 11:30, 12, 1, 2 in the morning. And we were trying to beat Challenge 27 with 3 players. We beat it with 4 players, and we beat it with 2 players, and we beat it solo. No problem. We were just like, oh yeah, not a big issue. We got this, right? But for some reason, when on Challenge 27 with 3 players, the game cartridge bugged out and kept crashing. Now we don't know if it was if it was just our cartridge. We don't know if it was something in Perfect Dark as a coding error or anything. So this is why I'm asking if anybody else has ever played Perfect Dark and you've done the challenges and you got to Challenge 27. Did Challenge 27 on 3 players bug out and cause errors? If so, let me know. And I mean that. Like I really want people to like leave a comment if you've ever played it and it bugged out. Because I am completely baffled as to why it did that way back in the day. But we started doing the challenges. Well, I started doing the challenges solo to try to unlock new stuff on the EverDrive. That way, I didn't have to go fishing for the old cartridge and plunk it in and get out the old memory pack that I have. All right. Question is, do I have? No, I do not have everything. I got caught right there, and I couldn't get around him. I was trying to use the Shield of Cthulhu to double tap and dash. I am stuck at an impasse. This really sucks. I have tried every conceivable thing. I've read guides. I have read strategies. I've read ones where they say just throw spike balls out there and then have the people run through them, and they'll shred themselves. Didn't work. I have heard all sorts of defensive strategies, offensive strategies. Nothing's working. Nothing is working. And so I'm I'm just at this point where I'm starting to think, you know, is it possible? And I mean, obviously it's possible, but is it probable? Something's got to give though. I mean, I gotta be able to beat one of them. I'm thinking it's gonna be the Queen Bee. I mean, Skeletron's too difficult right now. If I could get the bee gun, that would be incredible, because then I could just use the bee gun and defeat the others, or even the Beebo or whatever it's called. The bee's knees. That's what it's called. The bee's knees. God, that's an old phrase. That was around when I was a youth. True, actually, very true. That phrase was around when I was a youth. But no, it's just fun to be able to harken back and have them try, games um that they wouldn't normally get and wouldn't normally be able to sit down and play, because watching how he responded to it, like he was immediately enthralled after he got past the graphics don't look good. And once he got to the gameplay portion of it, boy, he was hooked. We were laughing and having a great time. We were using proximity mines and grenades. I had him laughing a lot because I was sitting there going, I have grenade. I bring grenade to face. And I would just cook the grenade and run at him, and he would be like, no, 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 and he'd start running away. It was great times. Great times. I mean, it's one of those things that today you take a look at the gaming of today. Take a look at like Call of Duty. Take a look at Battlefield. As much as I love Battlefield, you take a look at it. What happened to it? We gained the multiplayer ability of having people to play with all the time, but we lost the soul. The soul of the game is just not there, right? You could sit there and you could see it in every single player's eyes, because they're just like, well, we have this and we can play this game, and the community's just not there. So yeah, we have that. I made a very poignant post. As a matter of fact, it was on Twitter. It was a while ago. I said, when we gained connectivity, but we lost connection. And that's very apropos, as if you think about it, right? People are more connected nowadays because you can just reach out and type to all the way across the world, right? You can write messages to anyone, anywhere in the world, and they can read it in the flash of an eye. In the blink of an eye. As quick as a flash, it's there. But what did we lose? Connecting. We lost what made us connect as people. We lost that spark of getting together and saying, it's this, it's that, it's the other thing. I'm doing pretty good. Not for very long though. Ah, 4,300. I can't get it. I'm trying everything and it's just not working. But you know, like I said, we gain that connection, but we lose a lot. Where does that ancient shadow chess piece come from? Because if I farm that, I can get the ancient shadow set. I almost say it wants to. I almost say. Almost. Yeah. Almost say. Bleh. I almost think it wants to drop from. Ooh, wait. There's 3 extra defense. Might drop from the shadow area, the corruption area. Maybe the corruption underground, perhaps? Perhaps. Perhaps not. This stupid mat underneath my desk ain't moving. But no, I've. The more I sit there and I look at it, it's kind of. There's kind of a sadness to it. Because you watch as the entirety of. Oh boy, Sky Lakes and Surface. Can't wait to go up there and get attacked by harpies. Um, you watch as this the video game industry slowly loses itself, desperately trying to find itself. Right? And it's kind of gotten to that point now, if you really think about it. You take a look at it, and what have you got? You've got take a look at Call of Duty recently, the latest Black Ops. They've already got problems with cheating now, which doesn't make doesn't surprise me, right? Because if you are a game and you are online, people will try to cheat to get an upper hand, which is entirely lame. But it's one of those things where you watch them cheat, and you feel bad. Nailed it. Out of there. Seaweed planter. Cool. He's giving me the most tawdry items. Anyhow, like, call me old-fashioned, and most people will. But I prefer it when you'd sit there and you'd be like, yeah, okay, whenever you see somebody cheating, you just kind of like, they're a scumbag, right? And as kind of an unwritten rule that you knew that everybody that was cheating was the same type of scumbag, and you never endorsed it, and you always just kind of sat there like, I would prefer they never did. Meanwhile, it's just one of those things that gaming will endure forever. Because whenever a game is made, you will always have a group of people that will make a way to exploit stuff. Hold on, I'm gonna look up that ancient shadow armor. I am fairly certain it comes from the corruption. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm fairly certain. Ancient Shadow Scale Mail. Let's see. It's actually quite easy to farm. Yeah. Yeah, it's from the Devourers. Not the Devourers, sorry. It's from the, Eater of Souls, they claim. So I was right. You can just go farm it. Just by going and blowing them up. So I'm going to go do that while I wait. Because that's got more defense than what I've got, and I believe it negates the first type of damage I get, or it gives me movement speed. So we're going to try it. So I'm going to go over and we're going to go farm it. There was, something else. I was looking at the popularity of Black Ops 7. And, from what I can see, there's not a whole lot on the Steam charts regarding Black Ops 7. Now, obviously, Steam charts are a rather poor metric, but when you figure there's no real alternative to get a metric, you don't really have much to work with. Because if you really think about it, right, you have, obviously, like Battle.net you can play Black Ops 7 on, and you can play Black Ops 7 on, like, Game Pass or whatever, but they never really report the numbers of users on it playing that title. Hey, look, there's the scale mail. Well, that's fortuitous. Yeah, see, it's one extra defense. Movement speed and acceleration. Oh, yeah. Now we're getting somewhere. But you'll never get those, like I was saying, you'll never get those actual numbers, right? They'll never tell you the metrics of by which they can, oh, well, we've got X amount of players. Now, why is that? Why don't they ever want to tell you? Makes no sense. Unless they're ashamed of the numbers. Right? This is why we use Steam metrics. Now, you'll have the... I can't really call them elitists, but you'll have the you know, those people that usually have their pinky in the air, the elitists that are just like, oh, but Steam charts are not exactly pure. Because they're, you know, you have people on there playing Call of Duty because they're playing Warzone, and that the numbers don't reflect Black Ops 7. Okay. But they're launching Call of Duty through Steam. And if you only have, say, 80,000 players doing this, divide by Black Ops 6, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 7, and Warzone. So now you're dividing 80,000 by 4. That's not good numbers. In fact, that's the opposite. I mean, is it weighted heavier toward Black Ops 7 and Warzone? Sure, yeah, because that's the newer title. But that's not a guarantee. Which means a portion of those players are playing a different game. This does not portend well to Black Ops 7. But let's say benefit of the doubt. We'll give the benefit of the doubt. We're gonna say, yep. The most of them that are playing it are playing Black Ops 7. I mean, is it true? Well, maybe. No one really knows if it's true or not. If it is, it's, great. If it's not, then, well, they've got some problems, don't they? Battlefield doesn't have that problem because Battlefield, their metrics aren't split. I can't do it. I can't do it. I have tried everything. The Battlefield metric is split into pieces, right? Or not the Battlefield metric, sorry. The Battlefield metric is not split into pieces. Battlefield says we have X amount of players. Well, you could bet your bottom dollar that it's X amount of players. It's not X amount of players over Y amount of time. Actually, wait. Greater health potions. I could use those. Riding the slime all the way to the bottom because it's the fastest way down. Gotta go fast. Sanic, the speed slime. I don't have my obsidian skull on, so I have to be very careful where I go. Imp staff wouldn't be amiss. That'd be great. That's not, oh, that's even worse. Ow. I'll be taking those. Hmm. Well, at least I got an obsidian rose. Slowly picking up parts here and there. Reduces damage from touching lava, which is great. Glad I have it. It's quick obsidian rose, too. Problem is I'm getting mulched at every turn. I have to find something. Like, I mean, if I had expendable money, I could go over here and get to sit there next to the nurse and have the nurse constantly heal me, but that's not going to fix anything. That's a band-aid on a broken leg sort of treatment. Maybe more housing. Let's try more housing, because I know that there's certain NPCs I don't have yet. So we'll do some more housing. I know I had a chair and table somewhere already made for him. I just didn't put him down. There it is. I knew I had it somewhere, though. I'm also waiting for the meteorite to come down. When the meteorite comes down, we're in good shape. Because then I could go farm those and get the laser gun. And that's supposed to happen after you kill the Eye of Cthulhu. Or Cthulhu. I've killed the Eye. Multiple times, actually. Twice, I think? 3 times? Twice. Twice. 1, 2. Killed the King Slime 3 times. I have the whole ninja set. Who'd have guessed that the King Slime is the easiest? Wait, Superior Star Fury. Damage, crit strike, knockback. Size, I think, would be better, wouldn't it? Well, maybe. Maybe the 3% crit's better. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Ninjing. I did find the flying carpet. Because I found the pyramid from underneath. I didn't find it from up above. Which was the craziest thing. Because I went tunneling to the left to go look for the spider biome. And I found the spider biome, by the way. And when I found the spider biome, I was like, wait a minute. And right near it, I found the other biome, the pyramid. So I was really interested at that point. I have the door. Not the door. I have the table and chairs. Do I want to make rich mahogany walls? Sure. I'm not going to. That's a completely facetious question. I'm gonna just make it bog standard stuff. They can cope and seethe, I guess. Gold ore and the demonite ore can go away. Yeah, I made the frozen wand of sparking thinking, well, if I make one of those, I could just have no problems. I can chill the enemy and then burn them at the same time. Haha. Here I was thinking I was clever, and ended up just feeding more of my body to the grave. So much for that. I understand this looks like, communist block apartments, but you want to know what? My NPCs don't deserve a lap of luxury. They haven't exactly been there for me. They get what they get. They hope. It's like this area right down here is not big enough, so I'm going to just tear this. Actually, I'm just going to expand it. It's like I have ample housing. I just haven't used it yet. So, I need more wood. Great. For a minute there, I thought that was a gold rabbit, and I was going to be like, I don't have a bug catcher's now. Ow. Rude zombie. So let's see here. Let's extend this over like that, and then we'll build the walls here. We'll illuminate it. There. I need more wood. See, that's the joyous part about Star Furies. I don't even have to be... It's indirect fire. It's like using mortars in Battlefield. But no, like... When I was talking about the whole... Call of Duty versus Battlefield thing. Normally I don't like to do, one versus the other. I don't like to sit there and be that guy that's like, this game's better, that game's better. No. You want to know what it is? If you enjoy playing Call of Duty, play Call of Duty. If you enjoy playing Battlefield, play Battlefield. I'm saying that the player metrics, if anybody uses the player metrics as a guideline as to what game is performing better, that should tell you everything. Like, if you can look at a game and say, well, they're not performing very well, then that's not good. And honestly, this is where I'm going to make another statement, and people are going to be like, wait, that's an awfully controversial and bold statement you've made there, Quiz. I'd rather have a game have a lot of patches than a game have none. Simply put, because if a game has patches, it means the company cares enough to keep it updated and to keep caring about it to the degree that it needs to not really have constant maintenance, but that they're actually invested in it enough. And they're willing to say, yeah, we're invested in this game. We want to see it succeed. There's a lot of games right now that don't do that. And the games that don't do that are in trouble. Sales-wise. Player base-wise. And that's not where you want to be. As a game studio, you want to be able to sit there and go, yep, we got the players. No worries. No doubts. If you're sitting there as a game studio saying, yeah, Our player count's a little low because of reasons. That's not good. You never want to have low player count for reasons. You always want to be able to say, yeah, we're killing it. We're crushing it every day. Which is why metrics are important, by the way. And I'm not just saying that because I think all people should do this. I think the game companies should. To be honest with you, Chug-a-lug on my PC for no reason. Sounds like a winner. Yeah, I think game companies should provide metrics. Oops. And what do I mean by metrics, right? Blizzard used to do this, and I say used to. Blizzard used to have a player base that they told people. They said, "Hey, we had X amount of players log in. We had X amount of players on, this server logged in, playing our content." You want that. You want to be able to say that. Not because it's a brag thing and not because you're patting yourself on the back, but because if you can say and you can prove, hey, we've got a player base, then that just means people are interested in playing your product. And if they're interested in playing your product, but if you're struggling to find the player base, then that's not good. Right? And by trying to bury the turd of, I almost want to say market metrics, but I won't. By not revealing your player base to the consumer, you're effectively hiding how many people you get as a game developer. And by doing so, it kind of harms the game's image. I know it sounds weird, but it actually does. Of course, people would say, well, how does it harm the game's image? Well, simple. Ow. People pleased with a product will come back. People not pleased with a product won't. Well, this is gonna do it for me. I came up here to do some mild fishing, but as you can see by all the harpies, I might be busy for a bit. Got it. And got out in time. Really? When am I gonna get my endless buckets? But if people generally see, hey, this company, this whatever, has a lot of players, which means there goes. And if the players are happy with the product, it means that the players are continuing to play the product, which means the product has a higher chance of selling, right? So companies need to start doing that. They need to start putting out their own metrics and saying, look at how many players we have. Look at how many players we maintain. Give honest, raw numbers. And if the numbers aren't there, give those too. And then say, what are we doing wrong? Allow the players to give you feedback and then take that feedback to heart and say, we need to fix it. That's how you fix gaming. EA's taken the right step by privatizing. So you've privatized. Great. Look at how successful they're being right now. They're maintaining 250 to 300,000 players a day on Battlefield. That's on Steam alone. That's just Steam. That's not including the EA launcher, and that's not including Battle Pass on consoles. So just Steam alone, they got 250 to 300,000. Not so for Call of Duty, who only has about 80,000 average. 1/3 the clientele. I'm just saying. Run your raw numbers, throw them out there, and that shows people. EA's listening. They rolled out a patch that fixed a lot of things. Broke something else, but I've already mentioned this. I mentioned this on Twitter. I said you can't just go and remove something, because if you just go and remove something, it causes problems and it breaks the game. And they're like, oh, no, it doesn't. You literally can just do that. And I said, yeah, I did that. I made a game one time, and I removed something that was causing a spawning bug. I just removed what I thought was causing the spawning bug. Sure, it fixed the spawning bug, but broke something else. So I had to go back and fix it again. I said, so I know what I'm talking about. Granted, I did it in RPG Maker, and that did a lot of the heavy lifting when it came to coding. That's not the point. Point is, you can't just go in and start pulling out lines of code. Because certain things are connected to other things that you don't know that are connected, but they are. And then you start pulling them out. Done. But at any rate, I hope you enjoyed this video, as I know I did. I have to really knuckle down and find something to get these creatures dead. Otherwise, I'm going to be here all day, all night, all week. I'll do some more looking. I'll figure it out. I thank everybody for watching. And I hope everybody has a fantastic evening, a wonderful tomorrow. And as always, have a good one.